Now we are going to have a real treat. Again, as chair of the Distinguished Daughters, it's a pleasure for me to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Monique Gary. Dr. Gary is a member of graduated in 1996 and was inducted into the Distinguished Daughter Class of 2020. Dr. Gary is a board-certified, fellowship-trained breast surgical oncologist and medical director of the Grand View Health Pennsylvania Cancer Network Cancer Program in Sellersville, Pennsylvania. She also serves as the director of the breast program there. She is passionate about developing integrative, holistic, and innovative approaches to cancer treatment, prevention, general wellness, both in our region and throughout the world. Dr. Gary earned her BS at Florida A&M University, a Master's of Science in Molecular Biology from the Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine in 2005, followed by her doctorate of osteopathic medicine degree from the same institution in 2009. She completed her residency in general surgery at the University of Massachusetts Berkshire Medical Center in 2014, followed by a fellowship in breast surgical oncology at Georgetown University Medical Center in 2015. But she is not just a noted breast surgeon. She is an in-demand speaker and facilitator covering a range of topics related to health, wellness, and mental health. Dr. Gary is passionate about addressing the disparities in health outcomes for marginalized people. Dr. Gary's work aims to make wellness, physical, mental, and emotional wellness accessible to all. Her personal motto, which says it all: everyone has a gift. We can all use what we have right where we are to leave this world a better place than we found it. Let's set a new paradigm. Dr. Gary, please.
What a wonderful introduction. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for the opportunity to speak to all of you. I am truly honored and just blown away by the meeting this year and the participation and the accomplishments of all these women. And so I'm going to start with a quote by one of my favorite authors, Gwendolyn Brooks. She says, "We are each other's harvest. We are each other's magnitude and bond." And I've got about 20 minutes or less to close us out. And they said, get us fired up, give us some mini mental snacks to think about and munch on this weekend and digest into nourishment for our souls. And so for those of you who know me and listen to me on the radio every day, you know I don't pull any punches. I generally don't bite my tongue, and I do try to speak with as much eloquence as I can muster. And today is no exception in that we've got some things to talk about. And so as we celebrate another year gone by for our beloved alma mater, that makes 172 years old. So who's the oldest living person in your family today? And how old was the oldest matriarch before she died? And it got me to thinking, if I live to be 172, God forbid, but if I live to be 172 years old, what would I be like? Would I be a crotchety old lady who's stubborn and stuck in my ways and who ate the same food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, still wearing my 1990s fashions because that was my golden era of my youth, and you know that's how I remember myself and how I want to be remembered? Would I have lots of friends? Probably have some enemies too. What would my sons and especially my daughters, what would they think of me? Would I be inconvenient to them, pestering them to come and see me sometime? Or would I be so dope that my family couldn't wait to come and sit at my feet and taste my good cooking that I've mastered in 172 years of life and listen to the stories of my youth? Some of them gotta be juicy, and find themselves in my stories of my days gone by. Would I be nimble and adaptable, doing my yoga and my Tai Chi and learning all the new dances that my great, 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 great grandkids wanted to teach me? Would I be a hidden figure whom they're learning about, cleaning out my attic and all the spaces that have collected my memorabilia over the years, my t-shirts and my pom-poms, my radio clippings and VHS cassettes. Yes, I said VHS cassettes that tell the story of who I was. Or would I die with my story still within me? So since I'm a physician and I see things a certain way, I'd like to challenge all of you to see our beloved Alma not as an inanimate building, but as a living, breathing being. At 172, she is a living legend. She taught us STEM before it was an acronym and a buzzword, and she gave us a place of our own to meet ourselves and recognize ourselves for the very first time. She showed us that anything worth having was worth working for and not waiting around for anyone else to do it, that we are our own best thing. And she isn't perfect, even at 172 years young. Sometimes I'm gonna need to check the batteries on her hearing aid, and sometimes her wig needs adjusting, and sometimes her stockings are twisted and her slip is showing. And we, her children's 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 children, are the ones we've been waiting for. And I know that this talk is mostly preaching to the choir. I hope that you will share it and show, you know, our beloved friends, colleagues, and fellow graduates that there is room at her feet for all of us. She can still learn a dance or two. She can still learn, use pronouns, and affirm gender non-conforming young folks. She can celebrate Susan B. Anthony and Megan Thee Stallion, and she can learn that new math, and she is very much alive and relevant. And what keeps her young is us. And this whole weekend has been about self-care, and I absolutely love that theme because it's so very important. And so the part about where self-care isn't selfish, right? And how important it is, especially during COVID, to put your mask on first. It rings ever true. We have seen over the last year things we never thought we'd see in our lifetime, and we have learned that you cannot serve effectively unless you first serve your spirit, your household, your family. But what I've come to learn about self-care is that it comes in many forms, and that after tending to my essential needs first, after getting some good rest and getting some good food and getting some good loving from my friends and my family and those who are significant to me, that for me, balance comes from service. So when my life and my days are full of charts and meetings and grueling surgeries, and I get home at, 10, 11 o'clock at night some nights, and, I just kind of start to question everything. What brings me back to center is a room full of young, fresh faces who just want to learn about who I am and how I got here. And I've gone further than they could even see themselves. And I remember being that young person. It brings me a lot of joy to maybe just bag up my old gowns that I still think I'm going to fit into. I'm not. Bag them up. And the great shoes that I know I'm not going to wear anymore because I've been wearing flats for the last year during COVID. Bag up some of those high heels and take them someplace where there's some young folks who can't wait to try them on. It brings me joy and it brings me balance to give a talk to some young women with breast cancer, like the session that I just left before this one. And it reminds me of who I am and why I'm here. And so service in moderation can be self-care too. And our beloved alma mater has room for all of us to share our stories so that we're sure to reach those who sit in the seats we once sat in and make sure that their experiences are just as much, if not more, memorable. So tell your cousins, the The ones who don't come around that much anymore. They don't come around the family as much as they used to. Let them know that there's no need for formality. Just come on in and sit at the table, pull up a plate, and come break bread with us, because I almost got some stories to tell. I hear she's making a quilt and putting all our names on it, those who want to be counted. I hear she's redecorating and she's putting all our pictures on the wall, all the generations of kids and children's kids and kids. Nice little shiny leaves on her walls. And there's one for you and one for all of us. She wants all the kids to get together and teach us some new moves, because we are each other's harvest. If COVID has taught us nothing, it is that to care for self is not enough. We are indelibly connected. And what happens in the North happens in the South. The air you breathe is the same air I breathe. And that caring for ourselves collectively is revolutionary work. The last time I got to address this distinguished audience was in 1996 at our high school graduation. And I spoke about the pressures of life turning stones into precious gems like diamonds, and I had no idea. You know, I never thought that this tomboyish orphan kid who was walking down these pink halls blasting a trumpet would become Pennsylvania's only Black female breast cancer surgeon, serving 11 million or more people. And what a pressured life we're experiencing, and what beautiful diamonds we have become. What amazing stars in the sky. And I hope that we will all be encouraged to let our light shine for future alumni, and not for those who are privileged enough to attend Girls High, not just for those, but for all those young women who never get to walk those pink marble halls. You know, this work goes beyond Alma. It goes far beyond those halls. But self-care starts at home. So I thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today and to share my few little pearls about self-care. I look forward to seeing all of you doing the work. And I encourage you to let everybody know that there is room at the table of our alma mater, and that she is very, very much alive and kicking, and she wants to hear from you all. Thank you, guys. God bless you.